My life story. So I was born in a country town, and I had to make a decision on whether to go with my dad or mum. I picked my dad, and then he got a house. We lived in a caravan park. Then he got a house. Then he moved from the house to a different town, where he proceeded to hit me quite abusively, because with his hand, only smacking with waltz. And if you don't know what waltz do, it's basically, it gives you a stinging pain like a needle stabbing your skin every few seconds, which makes you cry for hours. And he did that because he didn't like his life. He had no one to love. He wasn't happy. And that's because of his life choices where he led. He chose to drink and use tablets at the same time instead of actually finding some happiness, what life is all about. And because of all that, I didn't get to be a kid no more. I was like an adult. Didn't really like being around kids anymore. I only liked being around adults. And when I went to school, this teacher, she seen me as a son, and I seen her as a mother. And she knew that, and that's why she stayed in Australia until I went to middle school. And then she left and went back to England for me. She stayed. And that's about the only happy uh, thing I have to say. And people hated me because I was different, and they didn't understand me. People hate what they don't understand. That's what happened to this one kid on the bus. He punched me in the back of the head, gave me a concussion. So I went to school, and I punched him in the back of the head. He got him in the ear. He would have suffered some hearing loss, permanent. And so then the kids, OG kids at school, they turned around and thought that I started it, which I didn't. And so this other kid, got smacked me in the back of the head and gave me another concussion. Then after that, I just didn't trust kids. I just hanged around adults. And I asked my middle school teacher. So I also seen her as a mum, and no other teacher wanted me because they knew that I wouldn't listen to them, and I'd only listen to her. And I asked her, can I go down to the cooking room? And because that's what I would do. I'd ask for permission, and she said, no, I want you to go outside. And so I didn't want to not listen, and I didn't want to not go outside. So I made a compromise. I went into this little fenced off area. They shut the gates during school hours and open the gates. It's shut on both sides. So for where the kids come in from the buses, and then once the kids are in, they shut them. So I went down in there and just stayed in there by myself because, well, I didn't want to burden the teachers with my, shit, and I didn't want to go out there with the kids. And then me dad also threw a rotten egg at my face. Gave me it gave it worst pain I've ever felt. Stinging in my eyes, so bad. Kicked me in the ass. Didn't show me any love. And then when I finally left, he left to go to a different town because he got a girlfriend, and she was a narcissist, and she only wanted him for his everything that he had because we lived in a dirty caravan park with dirt roads, uh, needles in drains, putting upwards, caravans leaked, um, the windows were nailed shut because they leaked, and yeah, that was my life for 5 years. There was nowhere else for me to go though, and I liked that school. I liked, the teacher, as you know. And so we had to move because of the narcissist being mean to the owners of the park. But that's okay, because then I went back to where I was born, and then I lived with my nan for a time, and then I went to live with my mum, and I didn't like it. I could see her future, and her future wasn't good. It was leading. She had a boyfriend who drunk and drove without a license all the time and got caught heaps of times. And and he owned the house that she lived in. So, you know, she eventually left him and went all the way down to my hometown where I am now and lived with her 89-year-old mother, and all she owns is a car. And but what started all the argument was that I didn't want to go. I went to school and I liked this girl, but I didn't like her enough to date her because, well, I wasn't ready for that, and I didn't want that. I didn't like Seymour. It's more like see less. It's full of hills, and yeah. Then she didn't like that I didn't ask her out. So she read to the whole class that I had porn on the phone. She got a kid to grab me by the shirt and slam me against the lockers and ask me why I didn't ask her out. And then this other kid threw a glue stick at me face because 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 I didn't ask her out and gave me a blood nose. And then there was this other incident at school, a different school, my hometown school, and this kid, he threw he didn't like that I was different again, that he didn't understand, because while we had free time, and while all the other kids um, did what they wanted, I just sat there because I had no interest in all the shit that they had to do, because I was more interested in talking, but no one wanted to talk, so I just sat there. And he didn't like that, so he said some shit to me, and I said some stuff back, only quieter, so no one could hear. And basically, he by the end of it, he said, "Oh, I had enough," and then flipped the table. And then, this is another teacher that I thought of as a mum. She jumped in between us, and I grabbed her arm, and I was like pulling it, not hard or aggressive, just to try and let her know, hey, listen, this is between me and him. I don't want you to get hurt. And he's like full on pushed past her and just said, "Don't touch Sarah," and just punched me right in the face. And Sarah had my side. I'd done nothing wrong. And yeah, it's bullshit. And me father gave me a choice on which toy to break. Either, and he picked the opposite on what I picked. That's how much of a good father he was. And me mother, she's immature. She's child. She's stupid. I ain't got time for people like that. I'm smart. It's just stupid. And when I left me mum, I went to live with me nan. And She only had one bedroom unit, so I had to sleep on a couch for a year or two, and everything that happened to me, not having a bed made me appreciate a bed. Not having a house, living in a caravan park for so long, made me appreciate my own house and my own stuff. And with what's happened to me, it's made me appreciate life, and not to do the same mistakes that my parents have done. And to raise a kid actually right, not wrong. And me mum, she attacked me multiple times because she thought that I didn't want to go to school because I didn't want to listen to her. No, it was because of what happened at school. I didn't see the teachers as a parent, so I didn't want to go to school. I didn't see her as a parent either because she was never a parent to me. She never has been. She's just been in my life. Just been there, you know. The teachers are more, is what I more seen as a parent because they were there every day. And they were better than my parents. And, you know, I miss them. I do. But, you know, they're gone and I gotta move on.